Picture this: archaeologists opening an ancient coffin, and suddenly a ghostly white figure materializes on the lid. Sounds like a Hollywood horror film, right? Except this actually happened. In today's video, we're diving into 5 real archaeological discoveries so disturbing that even seasoned scientists struggled to explain them. From mummified creatures frozen in time to rituals that seem ripped straight from a nightmare, these findings prove that sometimes reality is far more terrifying than fiction. Let's get started.
Scientists in Russia are learning more about the animals that once roamed the Earth. The Ice Age may have ended thousands of years ago, but many of its secrets are just now coming to the surface.
The teenage witch burned alive. Beneath the soil of northern Italy, archaeologists uncovered something that still sends chills down their spines: the skeleton of a girl, barely 15 years old. But this wasn't a normal burial. The girl's bones showed she'd been burned alive, then thrown into a pit and crushed under heavy stone slabs. Why? Medieval villagers believed she was a witch. Her body was buried face down, a deliberate ritual to trap her spirit underground and prevent her from rising again. Bone analysis revealed she suffered from severe anemia and malnutrition throughout her short life. Her pale, sickly appearance likely convinced superstitious locals she was possessed by evil forces. The most haunting part? Her skeleton was found in a curled position, suggesting an agonizing death. Just years earlier, another young girl's skeleton was found nearby, also buried face down in an identical anti-witch ritual. The ghost in the Chinese tomb. In 2007, construction workers in China's Hubei province accidentally broke through into an ancient tomb. As the team prepared to open the massive coffin, a pale, ghostly figure appeared on the wooden lid. The silhouette of a woman, head bowed, standing perfectly still. The entire crew froze, but the team pressed on. When they finally lifted the lid, they found only yellow liquid, decayed silk, and scattered bones belonging to a 50-year-old woman from the Han Dynasty over 2,000 years ago. So what was the ghost? After days of analysis, scientists discovered the truth: mold. As the silk fabrics decomposed inside the sealed coffin, mold spread across the lid in a pattern that, under dim light, perfectly resembled a standing human figure. Even with a scientific explanation, imagine being there, deep underground in a 2,000-year-old tomb, watching that shape slowly emerge from the darkness. The Wolfman's Skull. A Bulgarian farmer was preparing his field when his shovel struck something hard: a wooden box wrapped in rusted chains and locked tight, as if someone desperately wanted to keep it sealed forever. When he broke it open, he found a skull that defied explanation. It had the elongated snout and sharp teeth of a wolf, but the enlarged cranial dome of a human. This combination exists nowhere in nature. Official authorities claimed it was simply a wolf with a rare bone disease. But here's the problem: that disease occurs almost exclusively in humans, virtually never in wild animals. And it doesn't explain why the skull was locked in chains and buried deliberately. Ancient Balkan folklore speaks of werewolves, cursed spirits that could only be killed on Saturdays by decapitation. According to legend, the head had to be sealed away to prevent resurrection. The farmer proudly showed his discovery to anyone interested, but terrified villagers avoided him. They believed he'd broken an ancient seal and unleashed something that should have remained buried. The mummified cave lion cubs. In Siberia's frozen wastelands, a man discovered something extraordinary jutting from the ice: 2 tiny creatures with golden fur, looking as though they'd simply fallen asleep moments ago. They were cave lion cubs, extinct for over 10,000 years. Named Uyan and Dina, these cubs were so perfectly preserved that their skin, fur, and internal organs remained intact. Scientists could even extract usable DNA. Some researchers suggest that cloning an extinct cave lion isn't pure science fiction anymore. What killed them?
This lion cub is unique because its skin, skeleton, wool, and organs are well preserved, this scientist says. We hope we'll also find some of its mother's milk to better understand her diet.
One theory suggests their mother hid them in a den to protect them from predators, only for a sudden landslide to bury them alive. Siberia's extreme cold prevented decomposition, freezing them in time for 12,000 years. the lovers holding hands for 700 years. In Leicester, England, archaeologists excavating a long-lost medieval church made a discovery that stopped everyone in their tracks. Two skeletons still holding hands after more than 700 years. These weren't buried in the town's main church, but in St. Morel's, a mysterious chapel that vanished from history.
Archaeologists from the University of Leicester in the UK were touched when they uncovered the remains of a man and a woman who looked like they couldn't get enough of each other. They'd clearly seen better days, but archaeologists were still happy to see this couple while excavating a 14th century pilgrimage site at the Chapel of St. Morel in Hallaton.
Radiocarbon dating confirmed both died in the 14th century. Why were they buried here instead of the main church? Some historians believe this lost chapel was reserved for outcasts, criminals, plague victims, or pilgrims who died traveling. Were they lovers who faced death together? We'll likely never know. But their intertwined hands send a powerful message. Even after centuries, some bonds refuse to break. These 5 discoveries prove that the real world holds mysteries darker than any horror movie. Each raises questions we still can't answer. If you found these stories as fascinating and unsettling as I did, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive into history's darkest secrets. Thanks for watching.